I'm Carter Shaffer. I'm a certified financial planner at Monocacy Financial Group, and today we're going to be reacting to r/personal finance on Reddit. Let's dive in. I feel so defeated. I got a $5,000 cell phone bill because my daughter was talking to somebody from Roblox internationally. Oh boy. My first reaction to that is, what on earth is their daughter doing talking to someone from Roblox? From what I know, Roblox is a very sketchy platform that is filled with people that I would not want my young children talking to. I wouldn't even care so much about the cell phone bill. I would care about who she's talking to from Roblox. If she is getting someone else's number, that is a problem. I actually just recently saw something about the tin can phone, which is one of those phones that allows you to only contact people that your parents pre-program into a phone. I think this would have solved all of those problems. We're seeing things all the time where young kids are meeting people online and they're getting exposed to stuff way too early. And so I would 100% be locking down a Roblox account and making it so that they cannot chat to anybody. I'm pretty sure that setting is on Roblox, and that is the very first thing that I would do. And then I would not have to worry about a $5,000 cell phone bill. Second of all, it mentions in there that there's a $385 normal cell phone bill. I don't know of how anybody can have a $385 cell phone bill. Currently, there are so many options out there. I'm personally on T-Mobile. I know people on AT&T and Verizon. Most people are not paying $385 even for a family plan. You can pretty much get anything for like 40 bucks a month per line. So $385, there's a lot of issues here. Change your cell phone provider and lock down your daughter's Roblox account because she should not be talking to anybody. It's time to get back to the tin cans. Just signed my settlement. What's next? I'm 24 and just received about $612,000 after lawyer fees from a settlement. Never had money like this before in my whole life. I've been paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by. What should I do? This is actually more common than you think. I've seen quite a few settlements in my time working as a certified financial planner, and I'm always shocked to see how much people get and how often they come through. Very often, I have worked with people who have a sudden influx of cash, whether that be a family member passing away and leaving them more money than they expected, a settlement, a gambling win. I've seen it all. And the biggest thing that I can say is when you receive a massive windfall of cash, it's time to start playing defense, not offense. The controversial take here is that I don't think you should really do anything for the first 6 months, especially if it's something that's going to be a life-changing amount of money. Take the money, throw it in a high-yield savings account. Don't worry about investing. Don't worry about doing anything crazy. Don't tell anybody, unless it's, of course, immediate family, and just sit tight for 6 months. After that 6 months, I would use that time to make a game plan, and I would do a couple of things. The first is, I'm okay with a little bit of a splurge. I'm okay if you go out and you need a new car because your car's been falling apart, go buy yourself a new car, but keep it reasonable. Buy it cash, don't take out a high interest loan, it's not worth it. Just enjoy it a little bit. Second, I would absolutely look at paying off any of the debts that I have, especially if they're high interest. You're talking like anything probably above 5%, I'm almost paying that off immediately after the 6 months, if not right upon receiving a windfall of cash. If you have high interest credit card debt, oftentimes that surpasses the 6 months. I would just go ahead and pay that off right off the rip. Pay off your high interest debt and then go and enjoy it a little bit. This is often a great time to get a head start on saving for retirement or building up a little bit of cash for future expenses or things that you want to do. So I'm a big fan of then investing some of that money. Oftentimes you can use that to help max out a 401k plan if you're employed. Maybe put some money into a Roth if you're able to. And then the rest should go into a taxable account. Now, depending on the size of the windfall of cash, in this specific scenario, it's $600,000. I would probably dollar cost average into the market over 12 to 18 months. That way you don't put all the money in at once and then the market falls out the next day and you're like, well, crap, man, I have so much less money than I started with yesterday. But my order of operations there would be probably pay off debt, get it working for you in retirement accounts. You've got to take care of your retirement, have some fun with it, maybe do a little bit of a splurge purchase, and then the rest I would just slowly dollar cost average into the market and don't do anything crazy. The goal is that this windfall of cash should help set you up for a successful life, not just a very fun couple of years. Okay, now getting into a question that I get all the time from my clients, and that is, how much of a house can I afford? I bought a house and I don't know what to do. I bought a $440,000 house in August of 2025 when my income was $140,000. Now the industry has taken a turn and my income has tanked. Since buying the house, I've had to spend $11,000 in unexpected repairs. And there now seems to be something additionally wrong with my plumbing that's gonna cost another couple $1,000s to repair. This is something that happens all too often. And unfortunately, I see it a lot with what I call my next generation, or like foundational clients. Individuals in their 20s to 30s buying their first house. And the honest truth is that oftentimes it is gonna be a stretch, and it's gonna just have to be something that you live with. But there is a smart way to do it. According to CFP guidelines, you should spend no more than 28% of your gross annual income on your mortgage per year. So if you're making $120,000 a year or $10,000 a month, that would mean that your total mortgage, including principal and interest and property taxes and HOA and all that stuff bundled up, could be no more than $2,800 a month. That is not a lot in today's environment. Interest rates are higher than they were a couple of years ago. Home affordability is at basically the lowest that it's ever been. So getting a $2,800 per month mortgage is very, very tough. You have a good year or two, you might be in commissionable sales, you're killing it, but the industry could shift, you could lose your job, they could cut your commission rate. There's a lot of different things here at play. And you just bought a debt that has locked you in for the next 30 years. So you really should not be spending more than 28% of your gross monthly income for this exact reason. If you look further into this post, they're talking about an unexpected $11,000 of additional home repair. Because when you're talking about 28% of your gross monthly income, that doesn't include anything as far as home repairs, which I typically budget around at least 1% of the property value per year for home repairs. Most people, when they buy a house, they are using almost all their cash for the down payment, and then they're not left with much for when their AC unit goes out, or when they need to repair their roof, or some of the other things that come with home ownership. Owning a home is very, very expensive. Most people do not actually know the true cost of owning a home. They look at the mortgage payment, say, I can probably afford that. And then they go and buy a house, and then they're shocked when it ends up costing them an arm and a leg to live there. They could have been renting a heck of a lot cheaper. So oftentimes, especially when you're self-employed, especially when your income is not guaranteed, I'm a fan of maybe renting a little bit longer, which is very controversial in today's environment, but oftentimes it is actually a heck of a lot cheaper when you factor in all the different costs. All right, next up, something we have probably all heard a little bit too often. A friend of mine told me about her mentorship that helps you earn tons of money, and gave me some examples of people in the mentorship who have retired in their late 20s. Retired, stopped working. Yesterday, I met my friend and her coach at, wait for it, a Starbucks. And the meeting was vague and quick, and I was told to read Go Give Her. Is this an MLM? So first off, I don't know what Go Giver is, but I can tell you that I have seen this a number of times, especially somebody that's in sales and in the relationship business. I have seen a lot of those Facebook friend requests come through, or LinkedIn messages, or friends that I have not talked to in 10 or 15 years that I was vaguely associated with in high school, that come out of the woodworks and say, hey, hope you're doing well, let's grab a coffee. And certainly every single time I'm being pitched a multi-level marketing scheme. You may know of multi-level marketing from the very famous shape, a pyramid, where somebody at the top is making all the money and all the people at the bottom are kind of just funneling their funds up and paying the person at the top. A lot of these multi-level marketing schemes have you go out and you have to actually purchase a product that you're selling, because you have to buy into the system and buy into the dream and get the inventory. And what they don't tell you is like 70% of people that do multi-level marketing actually end up losing money. I am not a big fan of these things. The typical sign of it is if somebody requires you to buy a product, pay for mentorship, or you're gonna be working directly for them and they're gonna be training you, and they use words like downline, or if there's a very clear pyramid structure as far as individuals. The biggest and probably most common red flag is if you are compensated better to recruit and have people working underneath of you, that's the biggest red flag. Think about the pyramid and you're at the bottom. It gets bigger if you hire and recruit more people to work for you. Now you're one layer up in the pyramid and you've got a lot of people that are now paying you. That is the main red flag of a MLM, multi-level marketing scheme. And I would avoid that at all costs, because odds are that you're gonna lose a lot of money. Your people and friends that you recruit are gonna lose a lot of money, and nobody's gonna be happy, and they're always gonna remember that you were part of an MLM. I think in high school, I was voted most likely to be at the top of a MLM pyramid. So thankfully I was able to avoid that, but I'd probably be doing a little bit better than I am now if I had gotten into MLMs. So take that with a grain of salt. Reddit, am I cooked? I'm 23 and have $93,000 in bad debt. I just secured my first job paying $75,000. I continuously ignored my finances, and now I'm $96,000 in bad debt. Feel like my life is over and have $20,000 in credit cards, $6,000 in collections, $32,000 in student loans, $36,000 in auto loans, and a $3,500 Roth IRA as an asset. What should I do? That's a lot of debt for a 23-year-old. Namely, I think the credit cards are something that is going to really put them in the hole. Oftentimes, these credit cards are carrying balances or interest rates of about 22%. 22% starts compounding in the wrong direction for you and can really spiral out of control. That's why I always recommend, if you're going to open a credit card and you're gonna put stuff on it, you have to pay it off every single month. Not just the minimum payment, pay off the full balance every single month so you never pay a dime of interest. The nice thing is, they just secured a job making $75,000 a year. If you're making $75K a year and you have $100,000 in bad debt, it's workable. With a lot of discipline and a lot of delayed gratification, you can absolutely work your way out by the time you're 30, no questions asked. Oftentimes, I go for the debt snowball method. That is paying off the lowest balance first to start feeling some momentum, feeling a sense of satisfaction and pride for paying off one of your debts, and then paying off the next lowest. Now, that doesn't work if there's really, really high interest debt. For this one specifically, first thing I'd be chipping away at is that credit card debt, because you're probably talking, like I said, about 22%. Next up, I would be looking at the auto loans. $36,000 in auto loans at 23 is kind of insane. That means that they probably purchased a car for over $40,000. If you're in your early 20s, you don't need a $40,000 car. I was driving a minivan for like half a decade, and that sucker was very reliable, tried and true, and I loved it. Sell the car. That's the first thing. You might be underwater a little bit. Oftentimes, if you have $40,000 in credit card debt, you bought a car brand new and you're underwater. But I would absolutely sell the car, pay off the auto loan as quickly as possible, because you're probably looking at about 6 to 10% when it comes to interest rate for that. Next up, I would tackle collections with any extra money that I have. When you're in collections, oftentimes there's maybe a little bit of negotiating there. Oftentimes you can reach a settlement with whatever company you're in collections with, and you can get them to settle for 40 to 50 cents on the dollar. So a 50% discount on that. I would absolutely try to negotiate with the company and maybe settle with your collections agency for $3,000, $4,000 instead of $6,500. The student loans, I'm not too worried about that. This person specifically says they're probably gonna be having more because they're getting their MBA. I would caution them as a financial advisor, only go for the MBA if it's actually gonna help you out and there's a career path to making more money. That would be probably one of the last things that I would end up paying off. And then for the Roth IRA, I would keep it. You have $3,500. It's not a ton, but it's a great starting point. The nice thing about a Roth is you can actually pull out the contributions that you put in most cases. So that's a really big benefit to having a Roth IRA. But the goal of a Roth is let that thing compound for the rest of your life, because every dollar of growth is going to be tax-free. I would get disciplined about a budget. I would download a budgeting app. I personally use Monarch Money for my budget, and I would have every single dollar go to paying off certain debts, and I would not be eating out. If you have a $1,500 restaurant bill, probably a problem and an area to cut back on. At 23, it's a lot of debt, but you have a lot of time on your side, and I would get really religious about paying this off. And honestly, on a $75,000 salary, they could be out of debt by probably the age of 27 or 28. All right, so that was r/personal finance on Reddit. If you enjoyed this type of video, feel free to leave a like. Let us know what you enjoyed about it. If you think there's other subreddits that we should be reacting to, let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoy this style of content, leave us a subscribe. Once again, I'm Shaffer. I'm a certified financial planner, and I hope to see you on the next video.